Yes, hello. Welcome to today's weekly outlook. So to start on, let's start with DXY. An understanding of the DXY will usually help us understand how the other dollar pairs are going to be moving, uh, specifically in relation to the strength of the dollar, whether it is going to continue to be strong like it has been, or there's going to be a shift in sentiment. Yeah, so looking at DXY from the monthly time frame, if you have been watching some of the videos we've been doing, you will see we've been tracking the DXY all the way down here for the last 1 month based on weekly outlooks. So monthly, if you look at this candle, we had a serious impulse to the downside with a strong break. And from that side, from this impulsive move to the downside, we saw an area here where the market could not break. So from here, we started to see price consolidating, and now price seemingly heading up all the way to the previous highs which were being formed. However, it is important to notice what occurred around here. If you look at this strong break to the downside, we had the DXY breaking these lows, and also these are the lows here. So we have our areas of interest. We had this support area, which has not been taken out. The market rejected around here several times and then consolidated for a period of time. So we need to define this area of consolidation or the accumulation. So if you study, this is the impulsive move, and then this is the high. We have these highs, which have not yet been taken out. So originally price has been consolidating around here. So around this resistance area. So if you study the whole of this bracket, you realize that is the area of consolidation after an impulsive move to the downside. So once we have this defined on the monthly chart, definitely this becomes our area of support, or where we look for also demand being created, and then we have our resistance area, or where the supply areas are going to be located in before we can think about these levels and these highs. So once we define this, we can conclusively say from the bigger picture, there is still a tendency of the dollar to be strong. However, there can be temporary dollar weakness on the lower time frames. And then you just need to know how to utilize it, but have the bigger picture. So once we have that, we can go to the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, if you look at here, so generally for the last weeks, the dollar has actually been so strong by the way we understand the DXY. But now we are approaching an area of resistance above here. So we shall see what more information we can get from here, whether there will be, of course, there will be a reaction of this resistance area, and then maybe price pushing down a little bit these areas, because this high was also taken out. We had our weekly high, the market took it out. So will the market be able to react here and then come all the way to retest this previous high that was broken before we can be able to push up all the way up to here? There's that possibility is there. Or if that doesn't happen, maybe we shall have a break when the market will just break. And then from there, we see this retested, and then we further come down to the lows. So these are the scenarios we have. So we shall keep monitoring the market and see what is likely to happen. But for now, what is happening this very week in which we can begin to take action is understanding that we have area approaching a very critical area, which will demand some reactions. Therefore, if we are to trade it, we are going to want to position ourselves in a better place and therefore trade. Yes, so we have an area here where we shall look for some trade actions. Yeah, so this is what we have on the dollar index, meaning we are still on the bigger picture. We are still looking for continuous the dollar strength. So with that being said, maybe I can just couple in one more dollar pair or two, and then we can move on to the other pairs and see what we're doing. But it is very important to also understand the technical factors, the technical data that is going to happen this week, so that we can better position ourselves in terms of our expectations. So looking at this week from the technical data that is about to be released, starting on Monday. On Monday, we only have the German info business climate. So we don't have much on the dollar until and then at 5 p.m. that's when we shall have something coming up on the dollar. So we shall see how the consumer confidence will be playing out. That is on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, that's when we have the Aussie CPI. So the yearly Aussie CPI. So that's the news. And then on Thursday, can have the German CPI. And then GDP, the US GDP, that will be on Thursday, when we shall have also the unemployment claims. So you can watch out for these events and see how we can be able to capitalize on them and possibly make some money. And then we can finish up the week on Friday with Canadian GDP. And then finally with the revised consumer sentiment on the dollar. So that's what we have on the weekly, on this coming week. So this is what we have on the DXY. So let me add in another pair, looking at just it from technical. So it is important to look at the BTC, the Bitcoin chart. Let me just use Binance exchange. So with the Bitcoin chart, looking at it from the monthly chart, if you've been watching our videos, you realize that we had this month in which the market just broke lows. And so this was an area of resistance the market has failed to break. And here we have our support areas, because we see the market breaks up, coming to retest this, goes back up. So we are trading around here. So we want to see whether there will be a tendency of the market to come all the way to these highs before we can be able to trade. So Bitcoin is looking very bearish, the bigger picture, meaning the dollar is stronger than the Bitcoin. But then we shall have to wait until these levels are broken, or if Bitcoin can be able to push slightly to 29 areas, then we can trade. So let's look at it on the weekly level. So on the weekly level, there has been, there is this previous weekly high that the market has not actually, around 28,164 price. So the market is actually headed there. So this is a very important area of resistance that we shall have to see whether there will be some serious action on that. If that does not happen, then maybe the market could return from here because of this. Look at this candle. So will the market be able to come all the way here to retest this support before it can head back to this 28 area? Or we can just see a serious movement upward here? That is what we are expecting. But looking at the way this candle has closed, there is a possibility of us coming low here before we can go back up. But all we have to do is to wait and see what happens. Okay, so that's what we have on the Bitcoin. And then maybe going into one more dollar pair before we can cross into other pairs. Let's look at, so the Euro USD is almost the same as the dollar index. So we can pull in USDCHF, the Swiss. The dollar Swiss, one of the most interesting pairs. It's very good, direct, and trade it. Yeah, so again, looking at it from the monthly picture, the dollar has been stronger than the Swiss for some time now. And this is a general thing happening on the dollar pairs. Dollar is generally strong. But now, let's see. If you look at this monthly candle, you realize these are important areas, previous highs. So why do we focus on this area? You look at this, these are areas of break, okay? Because the market had broken down previously, comes here to form a low. So this is almost like a retest of these areas here. So there's no more information. So we want to, and then we have maybe to look at further, we have these areas also, another area of break, and then highs. So these are our resistance area on this, and then on this, on the bigger picture. And then we have these lows. So If the dollar continues to be stronger, then it will break this, and then we come up to these highs and see what will happen more. Okay. But if that does not happen, there is a possibility of the market beginning to turn from this side. All right. So if you look at this, this is what is happening. So we have our resistance area here, and the market is steadily going up. So the best place to actually wait to take some swing positions or take some good trades, quality trades, is you want to wait for price to be able to hit these areas here, which is like our resistance areas. And once market is able to hit those areas, we can begin to look for some selling opportunities, maybe temporarily. Or will this be the area in which the dollar strength will suddenly cease, and then the squeeze kicks in? Because if you look at the charts from just all over, the squeeze has generally been stronger. This is from the weekly. This was the highest, this was the resistance area. So squeeze, when it reached here, there was a serious decline to the upside, and then we've been having slow movement, low volatility, and then we had a pullback. All right, back into these areas, and then again another lows being formed, and then this area. So now here we are having another pushback. Will this be the area that will make us to begin to anticipate the Swiss strength, or will this be a continuation of the dollar strength? So that is an important area for us to observe price from. So looking at it from the daily, this is what we have. So the best place to actually wait patiently for a trade is around this 0.91313 area. So that is the area we will be looking for some change in sentiment concerning the dollar. So, but of course, the best way is usually to look at the dollar pairs complementarily. If you're looking at, let me say, the DXY, you look at another dollar pairs, there is a tendency of them to communicate the same subject when they reach a certain area. So like DXY is at a critical area now of resistance, like we had seen. And then now we have also the dollar squeeze also at a critical area. So once the DXY reaches that high that we had seen earlier, and the squeeze reaching here, then all we have to do is to wait for that serious break or serious shift in momentum based maybe on the daily, the weekly candle, or the 4-hourly candle, depending on how you observe it. And then now we can begin to say, yes, there is a possibility of change. Okay. So with that being said, we can say that's enough with the dollar pairs. Let's move on to another pair. So preferably the JPY. So let's look at CADJPY. So CADJPY is also another pair which is at a very good key level. Okay, let me remove all my levels. So looking at it from the monthly chart, if you look at this pair is at a very, very, very critical level, very nice price action. So we want to really be watching it closely. If you look at that, this is our resistance area, or what you would call your double top area, your supply area, your pattern area, you know, those things, all of that combination of things that you can do. It's actually interesting that somebody can come up saying my strategy is the best, this one is the best, whether it is smart money concepts, whether it is trading basic support and resistance, whether it's trading any other strategy that is outside there. The most important thing that we can all agree on is that point whereby we can all be in profits at a certain time, whether you're trading a different strategy. So at that point, these are points in which we can agree. There is a point whereby the pattern can work, the smart money can work, the supply and demand can work. All right, so this is one of those points. So USD CADJPY, the Kiwi, I mean the CAD and the yen, it's looking so good. So will this be the area where we shall have a turn and then possibly maybe come back to retest this low? So this is a very good area. So once price maybe breaks above this level, that's when we can begin to focus on these other highs. Okay. But for now, we are at a very good structural price. So this is one of those good pairs to look at this week. So coming to the weekly chart, if you look at this, let me just explain something briefly here. So this is the previous highs we had. I want you to observe something critical here. So we've been having, and then we had a high here, which price just takes out. Okay. So we had a major high on the monthly chart. Price comes here, doesn't reach here, doesn't reach to these highs, drops a little bit. Now it comes, you have supposed to have a resistance here, the market breaks it. So market is coming to this high. So the question is, will there be a break of these again? Or this is typically going to be that area in which we shall begin to look for some selling opportunities and begin to have our targets like this, targeting those lows. Targeting these lows. Okay, very, very, very good structure. So looking at it from the daily, this is what we have. So on the daily, you realize we had this resistance. You can see here, nice resistance. The market pushes down all the way up to there. And then we had our support here, market pushing up all the way to these highs. And then we had this. And here we are again with price action here. So when you look at this on the 4-hourly time frame, you realize now this was the previous high, which is our resistance, which was taken out. And now we have another one here. So this is definitely one of those good pairs to watch out for this week. Yeah. So because we can have targets all the way up to here, as long as we see some good price action around here, we can have a sell of about target of about 600 pips. Okay, you have a target of 120 pips here, and then maybe another 600 pips before we can come all the way to target these lows here. So very, 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 very good price action. So let me look at another JPY pairs before we can actually begin to conclude all of this. So let's go into EURJPY. Just to complement, there is always that it's important to complement pairs. You will want to look at pairs from different angles. I mean, different pairs. How JPY will react across these other pairs. It is very important. It helps you to have better decisions. All right. If you look at the candle clearly, we had a strong break to this, but this was a high. Okay. This area here, this break, let me zoom it out so that you can see. So this break, and then this is also where we had a retest. So there has been a retest here, and then you look at this monthly low. Okay. So we are trading around this region here, and then possibly maybe to another low here. So when you come to the weekly, we want to see how price is going to play out around this region here. So if you look at this, we had a nice pattern here that has been, so we had what you will usually call your 3 touches and whatever. So we had a pattern here, market each time it will come to these highs, there was a drop. And then all of a sudden we have on the weekly, we have these weekly highs, which the market has failed to break. So the first time, the second time we are having that. So it is, and then we had this weekly high. So what we need to observe is here now, as long as the market fails to break these weekly levels, there is a low chance of it coming all the way here. So if it fails to break this, we can definitely begin to look for these selling opportunities. So we'll be watching it together with CADJPY and some other JPY pairs. So there's a possibility of us getting a good trade all the way here, where we can trade this all the way up to down here. So with that being said, I want you to trade safely, have a lovely week, and then we can be able to capture more to come. Thank you. Have a good day.